Hey, it's Michelle. Thank you for stopping by for another car crash out. As you can tell, I am in my car, yes, but I'm also in my garage and actually getting ready to head to get a few things from the store versus going to the carpool lane to pick up my child. I actually checked her out earlier today, and so we've just been having a calm Friday here at home. First things first, let me show you my bag. This is my Coach Brooklyn in Merlot. This is a bag that I have featured on my channel a few times. So if you want to see some additional mod shots or an understanding of how I actually distress this bag, you can find the long video on my YouTube channel, but I also have some shorts on both YouTube and TikTok. This was a bag that I had done in memoriam for my sister who passed from stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and today is actually the 1-year anniversary of her passing. So I was all set to talk to you about some of the things that I've learned over the last year, some lessons that I chose to glean from her health journey, and how I've been processing and handling grief in a more positive way as I'm trying to move towards acceptance, right? However, you know, there are a few things that have been happening both nationally and internationally over the last couple of days. And I think I would be amiss to just kind of talk past those things because I think the impact is felt very close to home in a couple different ways, ironically. Honestly, what made me kind of sit and think about this is, you know, yesterday I had gone to pick my daughter up from high school. And when she got in the car, you know, she was sweaty and red in the face like she normally is because her last class period of the day is soccer. But her attitude and her eyes also kind of just seemed just kind of like a little down. And I was like, hey, let's go get a ice cream cone from Dairy Queen because if y'all didn't know, they do have the cherry dip topping back. So we're driving over to Dairy Queen, which mention of it immediately perked her up. And she started talking and she was just telling me, like, Mom, there's a lot going on in the world right now. And I was like, oh yeah. And I asked her, I was like, you know, are you talking about the shooting? And she's like, yes. And then there was somebody got beheaded in a motel in Dallas here. And then there was a stabbing somewhere. And then there was some riots. And she was like, it just feels like really, and I was like, heavy? And she's like, yeah, there's a lot going on. And I was like, oh, I can imagine. She goes, yeah, and you know, like I know how to like read the news and like find the facts and stuff, but then everybody at school is just talking about it all day. And she's like, it's very like stressful. I was like, oh, I get it. And I asked her, I said, you know, I know that the video came out. Did you by chance see the video of that shooting before they censored it? And she was like, yeah. And now I can't stop thinking about it, you know. And I was like, oh, yeah, that can be a little traumatizing. So we kind of sat and talked, and as we ate our ice cream cones and, you know, helped her decompress, I think when she was first telling that story, like her level of arousal was just very high energy. And I was like, oh, that definitely, like, she felt that. And then as she and I were talking, my oldest son, who's away at college, called, and he was calling with great news, but the first thing he said was, Mom. Well, actually, he calls me Mama. He was like, Mom, have you heard like all the stuff that's going on in the world? And I was like, yeah. He's like, the world's a crazy place right now. And I was like, hold on. The world is not a crazy place. There are crazy people doing crazy things. And there are some political things happening as people are, you know, fighting for their own freedom and representation. He was like, yeah, you're right. And so we sat and talked, three of us on the phone, about how when the world gets loud, right, the most important thing you can do is to get quiet. And I know that is so hard for all of us to disengage, especially when we have, you know, the news and TV and social media. And I'm sure we all have some of those really super boisterous friends or family members who feel the need to just send everybody tons of clips and tons of videos. My friend, actually I shouldn't call him my friend, the man that I'm dating, called me this morning and we're just chatting and he's like, I'm exhausted. And I was like, well, you know, you did drive a lot. He's like, no, I don't mean like that. He's like, I'm exhausted. He's like, you can't get away from all this news. And I was like, actually you can. You know, I love the news. I love to read current events. I love to find out what's going on in the world. But am very selective about which news channels I'll listen to, and I'm more selective about how I take the news in, and I have a preference to read. I want to read those articles, I want to read the newspapers, I want to read anything that's coming out, because they're going to often cite their sources. When you're listening to somebody give you the news, especially, honestly, if you just go flip on your phone right now, right? Most people who are talking about these situations, they're yelling at you, they're screaming, they're talking so fast, there's no pause or no break for thought. They're driving emotions. Last night, people started posting on TikTok and they're crying into the screen, and they want everybody. The majority of people who are talking about this are trying to evoke emotions. They're trying to play with your emotions. They're trying to manipulate your emotions. I don't allow people to do that to me. Very rarely, when you're watching the news or listening to somebody, very rarely do they cite sources. And the reason is because they're just probably getting their information from somewhere else, and they're not fact checking it, and they're just running with it. They're with the steamroller effect of emotions, where everybody's playing with everybody else's emotions, and they're just trying to essentially, either consciously or subconsciously, create this kind of like mass hysteria. Let's not forget, the world always has problems. The world has always had problems, but how we magnify those problems is up to us. And when the world gets loud, the best thing you can do is quiet your world. I don't recommend that you just totally avoid news in general. I don't recommend that you stick your head in the sand, but I do recommend that you consider, how much of this can I take in? How much do I need to take in? And what is the best format for me to take this in? For myself personally, again, I prefer to read, because I do want to know that the sources and information that I'm looking into or taking into my mind, into my heart, into my soul, into my life, the things that impact me, I do want to make sure that those things are proven, like that there's evidence to back up what is being said, and not just people spewing their ill-informed opinions. The other thing is to take care of yourself, to take care of your immediate world, your immediate household, before you worry about anything and everything else, right? So especially during times of high stress, and when that stress seems to be going on globally, you've got to focus on your self-care. And I will say this till the cows come home, right? Make sure you get up, take a shower, love on yourself with, massage that lotion in, put on your favorite fragrance. Girl, do your hair. Boy, do your hair. Do your skincare. Dress in a way that makes you feel good, makes you feel happy, makes you feel comfortable. Don't dress for everybody else, dress for yourself. Don't skip your meals, and focus especially on healthful meals that are giving your body the micronutrients that you need, especially if you are feeling overwhelmed by this stress of what is going on in the world. Focus on healthful foods. Get your berries, get your fruit in, get your vegetables in, get your proteins in. Don't feed your emotions and go get all that junk food and that stuff that just makes you feel worse. Make sure you're getting in at least a walk, get some exercise in. Any type of exercise that uses both sides of your body helps to balance your logical and emotional centers of your brain. Go for a walk, do some jumping jacks, punch on your punching bag, ride a bicycle, read a book. Talk to somebody who has a balanced mindset, and not somebody who's going to heighten your emotions. Get to bed on time. Listen to some meditation music. And just remind yourself that, yes, we're still in the early parts of all these things going on right now, and there's still a lot of questions and unknowns, but give it some time. The emotions will calm down, the facts will come out, and we'll understand more about what is going on, both with these situations here within our country and outside of the country. The emotions aren't going to help solve that any faster. It's not going to help make any decisions. And in fact, you don't want to make any decisions when you're emotional. Give yourself some time, give yourself some peace of mind. And I'll tell you this story about the bag and my sister another day. We got time. But I hope you guys are able to get through the weekend, get through the next week, and work on, just keeping your peace of mind, your sanctity of mind. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll talk soon.